What's up, YouTube? It's Juice Beats, and I'm back with another race here. This is the Long Run Park Circuit race in Louisville, Kentucky. And it's my first race in about a month or so. So, my fourth race overall that I've ever done. The first one being the Polecat. The second one, the Hen Cappy in South Carolina, and the third in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, right around my backyard, basically. And then this one here in Louisville, Kentucky, so about 4 hours away or so from my hometown. So let's get into it. Good start here at the beginning, nice and fast going out. Everybody's got that nervous energy. And we take that first turn, and basically we're going downhill from there after that first turn. And we hit this nice long stretch of downhill where you can hit 40 mile per hour plus. Kind of a sketchy little turn here. So basically you're going almost 40 miles an hour, but as you come down, so you hit that point at the very bottom, and then you go uphill to the left slightly. So it is a little bit of a turn. So taking that at 40 mile per hour speed plus that little turn can get a little sketchy. And then you're going uphill for a little bit here. I thought I did a pretty good job of staying in the peloton for these first few laps. Had a lot of nervous energy before this race for some reason. I didn't feel like my legs were under me at the beginning. I don't know if you know that feeling, but you get to the start line and you're like, all right, legs, wake up, come on. And that's kind of what it felt like for me at the beginning. It's almost like my legs weren't there at first. I finally got the power meter put on my bike too, so now you're able to see the power output that I'm putting out during the race. One thing that I'm trying to do better in this race also is not braking. So you'll see me kind of weaving out just a little bit so that I'm not pressing on the brake. I'm just kind of coasting past people at certain points. And that was just me just trying not to brake in this race. I was trying not to basically take that speed that I was at and just keep coasting with it basically. If you brake too much during a race, that can take a big toll on you. And so I took this turn a little bit wider on purpose. There's a little dip right there, and it's very subtle. It's almost like a speed bump basically, but if you take it a little bit wider, you can avoid the big part of it, and it doesn't jolt you as much. But if you take it right there in the middle, it'll bounce you up off the seat. And then from there you're going uphill to the start finish line. So that's the first lap down. Just a few more to go, and the course is pretty close to 2 miles. It's about 1.8, 1.7, somewhere in there. So it's a pretty long course. And of course it's a circuit race. It's not a crit, and they actually say that at the beginning. They said it's not a crit, so there are no free laps, which that's fine as long as you don't wreck and have to get back on. There were a few wrecks in this race. I don't think I captured anything on camera though. I don't think it was near me. It may have been some behind me, or later on in the race when there were some wrecks. I think there was some people that they were ahead at the time, and they wrecked, and I didn't get that on film or anything. But I think this was the fastest I came down this hill right here. So I'm hitting 40 miles per hour. And I was really sketched out right here on this turn up. A guy kind of came out a little bit towards me, and I was already running out of room on the side there, and felt like I needed to hold my line as best I could, or I was going off. But I am racing on my my S-Works tarmac frame in this race, and while I did feel better on it, I noticed that holding speed in this race was a little tough, and I think that's due to the fact that I have aluminum wheels still, and I haven't been able to get carbon wheels on this bike yet. I feel like if I got carbon wheels on this bike, it would help me stay in a little bit better, and also hold speed a little bit better. I don't know, some of you guys can comment down below and let me know that. But I noticed, like with my other bike that I was using for several months, as soon as I got the carbon wheels, I noticed my speed when coasting would stay at the speed that I had basically got up to at certain points. So I noticed that the speed would stay where it was supposed to, basically, for longer with carbon wheels. So we're getting stretched out here in the race just a little bit, and I still felt pretty good at this point. Nothing jolting to the system. Felt like I got enough to eat, and I had enough caffeine and everything in the morning. I had some oatmeal and a little bit of eggs, my coffee. The night before, it was tough because we were on our way to Louisville. I had all the kids with me, and we were just trying to find a place that was kid friendly and somewhere to grab some food for dinner. And we ended up at this bar near, I think it was Louisville campus or something like that, and really the options were very limited. I was looking for some brown rice and something to get some carbohydrates in, but I was only able to get some salmon and a baked potato, and I really feel like that wasn't enough carbohydrates, possibly, because towards the end of this race is where I started to feel like my energy level was going down. And everything that I've read online about crit races is, you want to get that nutrition in you several days before. You want to make sure that you have that carbohydrate stored in your body, at least the night before. You want to kind of carb load a little bit, so that's what you're burning. And I'm not sure if I got enough carbs or not. I did have a Cliff Bar later on that night too, just so that I had some carbohydrates, but I'm not sure if I got enough. So I'm falling a little bit behind at this point, and I'm not really sure why I did that. But I do get back with the Peloton here after this little dip, and try to hustle to get back in with the group. And I'm not straining myself or anything, hustling to get back in the group. You can see like my watts are, obviously I go to over 1,000 here, but I wasn't straining myself too much to get back in there. That's kind of a normal burst, I think, for me. So I just wanted to make sure that I was back on somebody's wheel at this point. Still out here learning the ins and outs of these races. Obviously this is not a pure four-corner crit or anything like that, so being on a circuit course and having kind of rolling hills throughout does take a toll on my body a little bit more than others. when you, I guess I'll put some photos up here at the end of what I look like, and you can see, these guys here, what they look like as they ride. So again, I'm the biggest guy out there, and it's easier for a lot of these smaller guys to go up and down these hills, where for me it takes much more of a toll. So I'm having to put out that much more power and carry the weight up these hills. Now that I can see my power, it's a lot of times when I'm going up these hills, I'm pushing out 900 to 1,000 watts just to get up them and keep up with everybody. So I can see where that would take a huge toll across a race like this. But technically I'm still in here with the Peloton, and I ride on the wheels. Everything kind of slows down at this point because it is an uphill climb towards the finish, and people get tired after going through those turns and that uphill climb. But as soon as you make this turn, this is where everybody speeds through and accelerates really quickly. I'm trying to accelerate here, and I'm looking at my RPMs. I reached over 100, and I'm doing 90, 95 RPMs, 28 miles an hour, 29 miles an hour, and climbing, and they're still just not necessarily leaving, but I'm not gaining on anybody at this point. I thought for sure at this point, after 4 laps down, that coming down this hill at the speeds that we were going, that I would have the momentum to just catch right back up and jump back on the wheels. But it looks like that didn't happen on this one. The field just kind of got away at this point, and you can see a lot of the guys that got left behind too. So there were 44 people in this particular race. This is the Cat 4-5, 44 deep. Spoiler alert, I ended up 21st, so about mid pack, a little bit better than mid pack in this race. But yeah, it was definitely another learning experience for me. Here I need to, stay up closer to the front. I've been saying that, but obviously my body doesn't want to listen to me while I'm at the race. Now I feel like I'm just shot. Like I did a lot to stay in or get back to the Peloton, but I didn't do enough to stay in it. And probably instead of just getting right up on the back, should have pushed my way in to the middle or closer to the front, so that I could enjoy the draft a little bit more instead of sitting on the back, because that happens when you're sitting on the back too long. You kind of get spit out with the surges and things. But let me know in the comments what you think. If carbon wheels would have helped on this one a little bit more, help me coast and stay in and hold my speed a little bit more on this, or do you think that it wouldn't have helped as much as I would think? So I know I have a pretty big burst at the beginning of this race. I think on the very first lap I hit 1400 something watts, not even trying to. So I know that if there's a situation where I need to sprint or I need to put in that burst, I can put in a big number of watts, and I haven't had that chance yet. I want to get that chance, but I haven't had that chance to really push myself and show what I can do in a sprint situation. we're coming down. This is the last 2 laps. You can see my speed has dropped significantly on these stretches here. Earlier in the race we were at 30 miles an hour, and now I'm sitting here at 26 miles an hour. We were averaging over 24 miles an hour, I believe, for the race before I was dropped back, and I think I averaged around 23 miles an hour, but yeah, the winners averaged a little bit over 24 miles an hour. It's just crazy to me that when I've done Zwift races in the past, I've averaged 26 and 27 miles an hour in those races, and I've pushed myself to the brink, and I've won Zwift races before. But when I'm outside in these other races, it's not translating. At this point in the race, I'm just kind of trying to latch on to anyone just to kind of ride in. But a lot of times when I latched on to people, they kind of fell off as well, and I ended up having to go at it myself. So I latch on to these 2 guys, and they seem to be doing pretty well. So try to jump on their wheel, but he falls off and I take off. But here we go. You see this guy to the right, he seems to be feeling it as well. Although I'm out of contention in this race at this point, there were a lot of guys that didn't hold on to the peloton, and my goal at this point with the last couple laps was just to get position, basically finish much better than I was doing, because I think I was probably back in the late 20s, early 30s for place in this race at this point. But if I could just inch my way past people on these last 2 laps, then I could put myself in a better position and finish in the top half rather than finishing in that bottom half of this race. So I let those 2 guys pass. Well, I didn't let them, but so these 2 guys pass and another guy passes, and I was like, oh, okay, I need to push myself on this last lap and do a little bit more. And it looks like to the right some people crashed before it got to this long stretch down the hill. So they were heading back to the start-finish line, I guess, to get patched up. But this is where I decided I'm going to carry that momentum and also push a little bit more over this hill, and this is where I started passing a lot of the guys that had fallen off the peloton. I'm not sure if they were involved in the crash or what, but you know, a lot of these guys were just kind of slowly moving up this hill, and I thought, you know, if I push myself enough, I can coast past them. Going for the moral victories rather than the actual victories at this point. So that Elil guy that just passed, I wanted to try to stay on his wheel as best as I could, but he just had a little bit more than I did. So I kind of finished right behind him. That was the difference between 21st and 20th place in this race. I felt like I was prepared for this race, and I felt like I had done enough in my training to get me to the point where I should be in contention. Worked out on Monday, did a fast group ride on Tuesday, did another training workout on Wednesday, and another one on Thursday, and then Friday, before we left, I did a pre-race warm-up. So felt like I was prepared. I felt like my legs felt good. It was just probably some nervous energy at the beginning where not sure what was going on, but definitely gotta figure out some things and try to, you know, get better. One thing about being here in Knoxville is there are no practice crits, there are no practice races. So that's one thing that I have a disadvantage with, and that I'm trying to overcome. I'm trying to do some fast group rides where I know that I'm going to be pushed to the brink, but yeah, that's kind of my only race practice right now that I'm getting is these group rides. And you know, with these group rides only averaging 21 or 22 miles an hour, it gets close to the race feel, but it's not quite as fast as what a race is going to be. So I'm going to keep signing up for more races and hopefully bring you some more videos with some better results. But I mean, I feel fairly good about this one in the top half, finishing 21st in this race. And I did actually do a race right after this, which was a definite mistake. First I did the 4-5 race, which is just the regular 4-5 race, and then I had also signed up for the 35 plus masters race, and you know, that was also a 4-5 field. But the masters race, apparently from what I've been told, is just a bunch of guys, sometimes ex-pros and a lot of sandbaggers that are just out there for fun but are extremely strong riders. And I learned that very quickly on the first lap. Everything was pretty smooth going out. I stayed with the peloton for a good bit of the first lap, but my energy was just shot because I only had 15 minutes between this first race and then that race, and I just didn't have any energy left. But they took off, and then I think maybe a couple laps to go or so, I see a group of 3 guys behind me, and they just whip past me super quick. Those guys were absolutely flying, and they never got caught. So yeah, kudos to them. And yeah, that's definitely a different level of speed that I've seen so far in these races. They were absolutely flying. But so the long run park circuit race in Louisville, Kentucky. Let me know your comments down below, what you think of the video, and hopefully I'll be posting some more stuff soon. Peace out, YouTube.
Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me.